Hi, so I'm Alex,
I'm Sky.
and we're the Queer Cadets. I am a 20-year-old sophomore student at the University of Oregon. I go by they, them, their pronouns. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm Sky. I'm 19. I went to University of Oregon last year. This year, I'm not sure what I'm doing. And I also prefer they, them, theirs, or he or she. Anything works. Yeah, so we met last year, our freshman year, on the gender equity floor at University of Oregon. Do you wanna...
Yeah, so the gender equity floor at U of O was this, it's a floor that was created, I think, probably 5 years ago now by a trans guy who was transitioning and wanted a safe space for other people who were going through the similar thing. So it was essentially a safe space in the dorms for trans, gender nonconforming, allies, queers, feminists, people who didn't want to room or didn't feel comfortable rooming with someone of the same sex or gender, whatever. So we both signed up for that for various reasons. My reason was after going to a Catholic high school for 4 years and being one of, if not only, the only gender non-conforming student there, I really wanted a safe space to kind of live and express my gender to experiment with my gender expression and my gender identity and kind of have a safe space for that after going to a really hostile, suffocating, stifling, tragic, traumatizing high school experience as a queer. So yeah, that's kind of why I signed up for the gender equity floor.
Yeah, and I did not have that experience in high school, fortunately, but I didn't really like the idea of going into an all-girls dorm and was nervous about that, and going into a just a boys dorm wasn't really an option. And so this hall is just a really good opportunity to be in a place that you'll be accepted, just right off the bat, and not only that, but you'll have room to experiment with who you are and what you prefer either pronoun wise or just anything. So it was a really good experience, and it was there that I kind of was able to feel accepted and comfortable enough to realize that I don't really conform with either genders, and that's okay, and that people will use they, them, theirs if I ask them, and just to be in that community and feel accepted and not alone. It's really awesome. And yeah, and I got to meet Alex, and it's awesome.
So yeah. One of the ways I found, or I kind of came to discover that I was genderqueer was when I was in high school, I would get gendered as male rather often. I would get he or him or his once in a while, not usually by my peers, but when I was out at family events or something and I just met someone for the first time, they'd usually gender me as he. And there was one day where I just kind of came to the realization that doesn't bother me in any way, shape, or form. And really the only time it would bother people would be either my family members or other people around me. Then they would get upset about it and they'd be like, well, aren't you going to say anything? Aren't you going to correct them? And I was like, no, actually, no, I'm not. So I just, yeah, there was just that one defining moment where I just kind of, it didn't bother me. So after that kind of realization, I opened up my pronouns. I told people however they perceive me to gender me that way. The problem I had with that, so once I opened that door, so to speak, all I kept getting was she, her, hers, because that was just what most people felt comfortable with, because that was all they knew at the time. And when I was really starting to really, really struggle with gender identity this past year, that started to really get on my nerves, and it actually really brought me down quite a bit. So I started asking all my friends and people around me to use they, them, theirs. And for the most part, the responses were pretty good. There were definitely a few rocky ones, as there always are, but overall the telling people that my preferred pronouns are neutral ones was a positive experience overall, and people were really respectful about it.
Yeah. And that, like, I shaved my hair in high school, like, all the way, and that, like, from the back, like, I would get heat, like, all the time, and at the time, I was, like, always really nervous when that happened, and it wasn't because, like, I didn't like it, but it was because I would, like, turn around, and then the person that did it would feel really awkward and really, like, apologetic, and, like, that would make me really uncomfortable because, like, I didn't like how awkward they felt, if that makes sense. And so for a long time, I, like, didn't think that, like, prevented me from realizing that, like, I don't know, that I would actually like to be called that. And then I kind of got over that and realized that, like, yeah, like, I liked both pronouns and a lot of times, like, he more. And then just, like, being at University of Oregon in that hall, like, let me realize that, first of all, I wasn't alone in how I was feeling, and second of all, like, it wasn't, because I feel like before that community, I was just kind of, like, I didn't think that if I asked people to use they, them, theirs, like, I didn't think that they would actually do that, or they would, like, think it was weird, but, like, in that environment, it was never weird, and it was, like, always really accepting, so, yeah, that was how I came to be. So, the purpose of this channel that we are now starting
is so when we were starting to, like, come together and talk about gender identity and expression together, we would talk about resources that we tried to find via the interweb
and we were just YouTube. Like, a lot of times just really, like, let down, but just, like, disappointed in the lack of it.
Yeah, we came up pretty, like, not that there's not any out there, but there's not as much out there about genderqueer or non-binary, gender non-conforming individuals in the trans community as we would like to see. And so hopefully the intent of this channel and the intent of these videos is to be another resource and or teach people and or set some sort of example and or give a face to all of those things.
Yeah.
So hopefully we are able to do that for some of you, if not all of you, or maybe this is just a random thing you stumbled upon and congratulations, you learn something new every day and this is your new fucking thing. So
yeah. And again, like, we're just coming from our experiences and, like, stuff that we've either, like, had happen to us or seen happen to other people, so it's all with a grain of salt.
Yeah. Take what works for you, leave what doesn't. We're all just here to try and relate to one another and make each other's lives feel a little bit less lonely. Cool. Nice.